Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Curiosity Cache, episode 9. How is everybody today?
Good.
Pretty
Yay!
good.
Hello.
Nice. So when
Our
last...
audio is all working perfectly.
Yes, now it is. Yay! When last we left our intrepid pseudo-adventurers, adventurers-to-be, you guys were on a ship, the Cyrenity. And Captain Morrigan and you had slain some nasty worms that had ruined the food that they had stored in the hold, and so that, and coupled with the storm that had kind of blown you off course, you had chosen to head inland in order to find a port city or some fishing village or something in order to restock food before heading on to Calassia. Is there anything that's different about that before we begin that you want to change your mind about?
No.
No?
No, because I'm sure that our captain knows exactly where we're going.
I'll bet you you're right.
Of course I do.
And not starving as we go to find Friede sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the worms just... Not only are they unappetizing, but you had determined that they were not edible. So,
Can they be used as bait?
you could try it.
Because we can always survive off of what survives off of the bugs.
It is the circle of life.
Sing it with me now, guys.
Cue Decim holding up a small rat child.
I think we already had that a couple episodes ago.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
I said a small rat child, not a very,
Not a-
very, very large rat child.
I mean,
It's the biggest
parts of
rat
it
baby.
started as a small rat child.
Sure.
The person we left
The-
behind is going to kill us.
All
It's
right.
only a 20% chance she'll set the shop on fire.
Right.
It's fine. This is how we will create Rat and Canaan.
I like it. So Miela turns the ship northward, and after a while, Selena calls down, and she's like, "I think I see land. It's weird."
It's just keep going in that direction, and then I will say loudly how tired I am and how it's been a long day, and so I'm going to take a nap, and then when I get inside, rubbish through all my maps to see where we are.
Okay. So as you open up the map of this area, you're looking around, and the small islands that you can see off the coast are much further west than you expected them to be, than you expected the ship to be by now. So the storm must have really thrown you off course and slowed you down much more than you expected it to.
Okay.
You do notice that there is a small fishing village that is just marked with a symbol as opposed to a name, just north of this chain of islands. Or you can continue to go east and potentially reach Galore, but you're not sure that you have enough food to last that long.
Okay. So then I will emerge from my chambers, having taken my 5 or 10 minute nap, and talk to my new crew, basically saying how much do we really want this ice sculpture guy? Because I'll be honest, this is turning into a lot more work than I originally anticipated when I was heavily drunk.
I mean, we really like our friends, and we like him alive and well and not captured.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can get you very drunk after all this is over, if that helps.
I mean, that does help. Okay. Well, just so you know, there is a small fishing village, which we may be able to get some fish, but they're really small, so I don't even know if they'd have enough. There is a larger city to the east of here. Not sure we'll make it. We like almost definitely will, but also not sure at all if we're gonna like make it there alive. And then we'd still have a ways to go before Calastia. So I doubt we'd see your friend. We want to catch them like en route. Like I doubt that's a possibility at this point. We'd have to go into Calastia. And from what I've seen, they don't like people like us. So just not saying we shouldn't get him. Just saying this may be more work than he's worth. Just a hunch.
Well,
Captain, I thought you said you were ready for some intense negotiations with the Calastians, that you were like hoping for that.
I am always ready for intense Calastian negotiations. However, okay, how about this? If we're gonna do this, I'm gonna have to make sure you all are ready for some intense Calastian negotiations, because this is no longer a ship-to-ship negotiation. This is a ship-to-city negotiation.
I mean, we can be subtle at times and
Lord Jared.
subtly persuasive at times. I mean, you should have seen how subtly I was able to unlock a door the other day.
You can unlock doors.
Yes, I can.
Okay, that'll be useful.
Yeah. But yes, I'm sure that we can figure something out. I mean, Decim here is really good at tracking people down, no matter, especially in cities, especially with someone like Friede, because Friede probably smells differently than anything else in that city, honestly. And Braca is really good at just being there and being present and sometimes fixing things and sometimes breaking things, and he's great at both. And I'm just here to tie everything together, and I really do think that together we will be able to get Friede, whether he's on a ship or in a city or anything like that. But you are the captain, so it's really up to you where we should stop first. We would like to get our friend back, though, unless...
Okay.
Yeah.
Such a ringing endorsement.
Well, then, considering we are going to be doing some subtle negotiations this time, perhaps we should go to the city and see if we can stock up not just food, but negotiating supplies.
Yes, negotiating. We are good at that.
Yeah. So then, I guess I will. If any of you know how to fish, that would be great. I'm gonna talk to Jojin, and we're gonna do some fishing to try to tide us over until we get to what's the major city, the big city?
Galore.
I could probably figure something out. Baiting fish is like baiting other animals that you eat, right?
Yeah, that
sounds
right.
It's almost identical.
Excellent. I could figure something out.
Decim, do you know how to fish as well, or no?
Desmond does not have a cousin that he can use to attract the alligators, but I'm certain that maybe someone could volunteer to be thrown into the water, and then their sacrifice will not be in vain.
Thank you, Decim. I think Braca has this one, though.
Okay. I just want to make sure. Decim wasn't volunteering himself to get thrown in as bait, right? Because it kind of sounded like that.
No, he said one of his cousins. He doesn't have one of his cousins, but maybe somebody else would volunteer. So, Braca, get to fishing.
And Decim, you're more than welcome to try using one of those worms as bait. No one's going to stop you.
Yeah.
Well, sorry.
Yeah.
No one in the crew is going to stop you.
Good.
At all.
Be good use of the worms.
Rocco would like to try fishing with anything else.
Okay. Captain, where would you like Miela to take the ship?
So I'll instruct Miela to go to the city, not the fishing village. I forgot its name already. Yeah.
And Decim, are you going to try fishing as well, or are you giving the worm to Braca to try as bait?
Well, I don't think that Braca seems all that interested in the worm, and barring having a family member to throw in as bait, I'm gonna have to use the worm.
Okay. Let's start with Braca.
You guys have family members that you want to sacrifice. We could totally get fishing in. It's very effective.
You notice the crew at least kind of like looks at you funny and then goes back to doing their duties.
How about another time? Not today. But thank you for the creative contribution to this endeavor, Decim. We appreciate your creativity. It always keeps us on our toes and always keeps us moving forward in some direction.
Decim nods as if he understands.
Braca shakes his head as if he understands.
So Braca, you can find there's some of those large sea fishing poles. So they're like these really long rods that have extra thick wire, and you can use like they don't really have much in the ways of bait, except for like some small fish that they've salted and stuff. So you could throw those in there, or you could try the worms.
No, I just ask people who've done this before what they'd recommend and learn by doing.
Okay. So yeah, they suggest just trying the salted fish to see if that helps. If not, then you can try fishing with this thing, and he holds up this very large hook that has like feathers and stuff attached to it. But it takes a little bit more skill than just like holding the pole over the edge.
What kind of skill?
You just have to be kind of a little more dexterous with the pole and move it around. Here, let me show you. And this is, I can't think of his name. Hang on. Barnabas. Barnabas is showing you this. He can show you how to use it.
Yeah.
Okay. So while you go over and he shows you how to use this this fishing fly, Decim, you're gonna take the hook and like hook on a worm and toss it in the water.
I mean, usually the traditional way of fishing in the morning marshes is just take one of the youngest of the family members and throw them into the bog.
Right.
Right. But this looks like a little wetter than the bog, and it looks like the worms might sink, so we probably should tie them to a rope or something, and then just kind of drag them up if something eats it.
Okay, so you go ahead to get a
usually
rope.
we just stab our sibling, but this is different, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get a rope and tie it around one of the worms and throw it in the water, and then if something grabs it, you want to pull it up and stab it.
Yeah, I think that's I think that's the best way to fish. I think. I just wish that the worm could like maybe move around a little bit more in the water, because that's usually how you attract whatever it is that's in the water, right?
Well, you can try like moving the rope around to try and get it to jerk, like the worm.
Totally. We're gonna see if that works.
Okay. Braca, go ahead and make a intelligence check.
I was told this was based on dexterity.
11. So after watching him for a bit, you get the idea of like how to do it. It's a little awkward. Like, obviously throwing the hook in with bait just seems way simpler, but maybe out here on the wide ocean, this is going to work better. Who knows? So yeah, you can go ahead and do a dex check. Nice. So you take the fishing rod and you cast it out there, and Barnabas whistles as the fly actually goes quite a ways out, and you begin doing this kind of like rhythmic tugging to get it to move, and it actually doesn't take very long. You feel like something's bite at the fly, and so you like jerk it, and sure enough, there's a large ocean fish. Crap, nothing comes to mind. What's a large ocean fish?
Tuna.
Tuna. Sunfish tuna.
They're big.
So this large fish begins thrashing around near the surface. Go ahead and do an athletics check. Not bad, not bad.
Not bad.
You're having a hard time like pulling it in. It seems like you need to wear it out so that you'll be able to pull it in easier. So you get the idea. If you just kind of hang on for a while, it's thrashing around. We'll tire it. Okay.
All right.
Meanwhile, Decim goes and ties a rope around a worm and hauls it over to the edge of the boat and just drops it over, and it makes a large splash. And pretty much everyone is just kind of watching Decim, just waiting to see what happens as far as the crew goes.
Champion fisherman here.
Right?
Champion.
Pracha and Captain Morgan, what are you doing?
Watching Decim.
Yeah.
Otherwise, keeping an eye out on the horizon to see if land is anywhere close, because I assume the ship that we are chasing is completely away at this point because they were using magic.
You get from Captain Morgan, you get that idea.
Yeah.
You just kind of have to take his word for it, or you can try and figure out if you have any like sailing history or whatever. You can try and make your own guess.
I'm gonna take his word for it because he's a captain and he has gills, so he's doubly qualified.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah.
So true.
Go ahead and make me a perception check, though.
Sure. Let's see.
So you're watching Decim, and he's like kind of over there. Actually, Decim, make a dex check. So he's over there, and he's kind of like moving the rope around. Let's see how well he's doing. The fact that the worm probably weighs about half of what Decim does, maybe not quite that much, but close. He's definitely like, you can see him just kind of like trying to move it around, and you're not really sure he's doing much, but he's still on the ship, which is good. And as you look out over the horizon, you see those islands, and otherwise you don't see any sign of land.
Yeah. Okay. This is fine.
Braca, you managed to wrestle that tuna on board. Captain Morgan, you feel like it is a good catch that will definitely help.
This Braca should be on my ship. I'm gonna look at Jojen. Not like, not necessarily angry, just like you should learn from that one.
He just shrugs. He goes back to doing his duties. Decim.
Yes.
Make a survival check. Okay.
That's a 15.
So I'm kind of lumping several things into this. So as you're like moving around, you're starting to get tired. You feel like it's not really working the way you want it to, but you do feel like slight tugs every so often. So you do feel like there's something, or maybe several small somethings chewing on the worm. What would you like to do?
You know, there's this book called Old Man of the Sea, and pretty sure he caught a big fish by just dragging a big fish, right? Or did he lose the big fish? I don't know. There was a big fish in the book, and it was being dragged behind the boat. So clearly, this just needs to be floating in the water for a while, tied off to the boat. And we've got all of these worms we can use. We'll just tie up a bunch of worms.
Okay. All right, so Destin goes and gets some more rope. Captain, like, it's your ship, so I don't want to say that this is what happens. Uh-oh. Can you hear me, Captain, there?
Okay.
Okay.
I have gotten the idea that this small Slytherin kind of just does what he wants to do, and it tends to work out. So if he wants to get more worms,
Okay.
yeah, I'm not going to stop that.
All right, so after a little bit, he's dragged out like several of these worms and tied them onto ropes and tossed them into the water. While that's happening, what's everyone else doing?
Brock is gonna walk over to Pratra and say, "So, I got us some dinner. How's
Awesome.
Destin doing?
I look over at Destin.
Really?
He's doing okay, I think. He got more worms, which has the benefit of getting rid of all the dead worm carcasses, so there's that. He is using up a lot of rope.
That's not so good.
I mean, we'll get it back, maybe. I think he's doing a great job. Good job.
All right. Well, he hasn't gone overboard yet. And
Nope.
hasn't attracted more worms, so I guess that's good. And
Yeah.
well, I'll see if I can catch some more fish.
Yeah. I have, Raka, I have since learned that it's great to just let Decim do his own thing for the most part. He's just unbridled chaos. So all you can do is generally direct him in a direction and let him go. And usually he hits his mark. It's not the way you expect it. Sometimes you get fire instead of ice, but you know what? He hit it. So that's the important thing here. And I realize that at sometimes it is it's difficult because you do things properly and you're very organized. And honestly, I appreciate the hell out of that with you, Raka. And it's hard to see Decim do stuff and still it's, it works out. But he just has his own way of doing things and you just have to accept that. And sometimes, he winds up leading us to a correct location. And sometimes we wind up with a weird 6-foot-tall rat baby. So you just gotta, thank you for dinner. That's what I'm saying.
So, Raka's reply to that is just, wait a minute. Did you just make an unbridled reference to an ironbred who, for those of you at home, looks like a horse?
No. Nope, not intentionally. You are.
Yep, but you would have seen everything after unbridled. Raka paid a little less attention. As a player, but Raka, he doesn't look all that offended. Just like, oh. I know what my role is here.
That's so much worse.
But on the other hand, Pracha, I feel like as much as you don't believe that you fit into a manager role, that was quite the speech.
It was.
minus the offending your employee, but
HR is going to report on
right.
it.
So while this conversation is going on, Captain Morgan, Selena calls down to you. Captain, are we anchored?
We're not supposed to be anchored. Are we?
We were. You had him drop anchor for the fight.
Yeah, I did have them drop anchor.
Miela calls. She's like, yeah, but I had Barnabas raise it up after we
Right. So
decided
like,
to head inland.
it's been a weird day. I'm just gonna go towards the anchor to get
Okay.
like some empirical evidence of like
Yeah.
where the anchor is.
It is. I
Where?
mean, you can't see the anchor from like on deck, but the
Right.
chain is completely wound up. So yeah, it is. You're not anchored. At least the
Are-
anchor has not been dropped. I should say.
Are
it
we
that
not?
way.
Are we not moving?
Well, those islands are still right there, and she points, and sure enough, those islands are still right there.
God.
I'm going to go check Decim's rope.
I mean, there are several, so you just walk over to any one of them.
Okay, are any of them like taut, or are they just kind of
I
slack
mean,
in the water?
They would all be fairly taut because they're dragging essentially
Okay.
a half-person size worm. So yeah, they would be like, but none of them were like super
Like,
taut. Yeah, nothing was
okay.
fraying or anything like that.
Okay.
And none of
Alright.
them were loose, so you think that the worm is still down there.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, it's fine.
I'm get Jojen, and we're just gonna go jump in the water quickly.
Okay. So
Let's see.
Jojen dives off one side and you dive off the other. Which
Yeah.
side do you dive off on? Worm side or not worm side? Or
I'll say
Decim, did you spread out the worm love?
Yes, because that increases the chance of finding something.
Okay. So there's two worm sides. So he jumps off one and you jump off the other. Go ahead and make a perception check.
You're good at this, buddy. You can do this.
I believe in you. You can do this.
Right?
Oh, he can do this.
Nice. So as you look around, you do see the worms. It does look like several small fish are kind of swimming along with the ship and
Right.
like taking nibbles out and everything, but you don't see anything all that large. In fact, kind of off in the distance, you might see a larger school of fish, but it looks like it's heading away from the ship.
Mm-hmm. And there's nothing that like the ship is like caught on. It's just kind of like free floating.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I'll like convene with Jojen and we'll like, go back up. I'd like to do some kind of history sailing arcana check.
Okay.
Because we were already the victims of some kind of magical thing.
Oh, gotcha.
Maybe
Yeah.
Another one.
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead and do an arcana check.
Are you were pretty smart.
I mean, maybe not that smart. So you think about it, and you can't think of any magic that would do this without having some kind of like storm effect or whatever. Like there would be some kind of visual cue that the ship had been stopped by
Right.
something.
Well, I'm stumped. Yeah. So I guess we'll I'll just like kind of walk around, like kind of talk to the people, see if they know what's happening. This may be just a sign from the ocean being like, take a break. You've had a rough day.
So when you say I'm stumped, Barnabas looks at you and you look down at his peg leg and you're like, oh, why every time do I forget about that?
I promise I won't forget tomorrow, although I probably will forget more tonight. But like tomorrow is the good day.
You know, the shark wasn't my fault. It was completely somebody else's fault.
It was someone else. It wasn't anyone else's fault. It was his fault.
So anyway, so you can't think of anything, and you're gonna walk around and talk to them and see if you can.
Yeah, talk to Jojen and Mula for sure, because they're like my go-to peeps on the
Yeah.
ship, I think. Yeah, see if they know what's going on. Like Mula was like steering, so if she knows anything out of the ordinary.
She actually goes back and looks at the rudder, and like looks at the back of the ship, and she can see that there's wake trailing after you. So you are moving.
So I am moving. We are moving in the direction. The islands are still there, have not moved.
Right.
Are the islands magical?
So they're okay. Can we do a history check? Because I know they're on the map, but are they on the map of some kind of like magical disappearing islands?
Just do an intelligence check first.
Gotcha.
So you're thinking back, and you don't have the map in front of you, but you're like you're standing on deck and you're watching these islands, and you're trying to figure it out. And you're like, wait, why are there 7 islands? There was only 4 islands on the map. And those islands are much smaller than the ones on the map were.
So I'm gonna yawn. Like, I need another nap.
Okay.
And like sprint in to get the map again.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah,
Captain's really tired today.
You unfurl the map and you're looking at it, and yeah, there's like, I mean, one of the maps or one of the islands is probably 2 to 3 times the size of Shelzar, so it's like a pretty decent size island.
right.
And then there's just like this small chain of 3 other islands that go off of it, and these islands that are off the side of your ship are much smaller than that.
Okay, so I am no longer pretend like I know what I'm doing. I am coming outside. I am calling a crew meeting. Whoever is like has a task that they can like postpone for a little bit. Get your ass up here. I'll get my mule out. We're gonna figure this out because like this is. I'm not the best captain, but 4 is not 7, and that's why I'm freaking out right now.
The 3, Decembraca and Pracha, do you go up when he calls?
Yeah, I'm gonna push the mop bucket aside and go over.
Okay. Mila says, you missed a spot.
No, they
if
she
the
should be
simple
here.
passes are going, I'll go too.
Okay. So, Captain, what do you want to...
So I'm going to explain the situation. Like, I thought we were here because of islands, but there is a discrepancy between the number of islands on this map and the number of islands there, which under normal circumstances wouldn't be that big of a deal. You know, maybe someone got lazy and they were like, 4 is enough. They can extrapolate the rest. I think I bought this from a guy who was also drunk and was like drawing it at the time, so I don't know how accurate it actually is. However, we're clearly not moving, but we also clearly are. So we're doing a brainstorm before we all die.
What do you mean not moving?
Well, you see those islands.
Indicates we're not moving.
Those islands, like they should have changed shape because we have been technically moving for a while, but it doesn't seem like we're getting like they're moving. They're still the same place. Is that correct? Yeah.
Is there anything in the sky that would give us a sense of whether or not we have moved? Some other reference point other than islands.
Sure. Let's do a group survival check, and you can all kind of like keep an eye out.
Sure.
Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and roll for the crew as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty clear day, but every so often you do see like a small group of clouds in the sky. They're kind of like really thin, and so it's hard to really go by them as far as as far as whether or not they're moving quickly or not. But you get the feeling that yes, you are moving. And you feel like you're moving pretty much east, but maybe a little northeast.
Which is where we are hoping to move, right?
Correct.
So, has anyone considered the possibility that those islands are not just normal natural land masses of. Well, how big are these islands supposed to be anyway?
Bigger than shells are, or at least one should be at least.
So I'm thinking two things: either one, magic broke the islands, or two, magic is pushing these islands to move at the pace of boat.
Are they islands?
Well, I mean, what else could they be? He says,
Large
horrified.
creatures.
Would I know of any large island-sized creatures in the
Go
water?
ahead and do a history check.
I'll be honest. I kind of hope I don't know, just for.
And everyone's, kind of looking off towards the islands after you ask this Pracha. And I mean, they look
that's medicine.
like.
That's not history.
What'd you get? Oh.
But it's the same. It is the same bonus.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Captain, you know that there are some large creatures in the ocean that could be as large as a small island, technically.
Can I sail on this thing? Oh. Okay, so assuming it is some kind of large creature that I don't know, I just know it's large. And it seems like it's not moving. Could I infer that it is like moving in the same direction as us?
So if you're going to go under the assumption that your ship is moving,
Right, which I think so, yeah.
and the islands have not moved, yeah, probably the easiest assumption would be that they are also moving.
Are we sure we need this friend of yours? This is turning into a lot of work. I'm not saying we shouldn't do it. I'm just.
We care for our friend deeply.
Okay. Then I will. I assume at this point I'm starting to sober up, and I will tell Mila like, stay on guard. We'll like make sure you get ship changes enough because this is potentially something much more dangerous than a magical storm that like blows us off course. If you see anything, let me know. Like I'll take over. Jin will take over. But we need to like be aware of those islands as we continue to move forward.
Okay. So everyone kind of tensely watches these islands for about an hour, and they don't fade away. They don't get any further away. If anything, they might look a little larger after the hour goes by. And then Selena cries out, "Captain!" and she points at the grouping of islands.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
Do I have any like liquor on this boat? Like,
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna break into my like private stash because this seems like the time.
Okay.
Because who knows what's gonna happen?
So she
And then
points. She points at the islands, and then you walk off and get some booze.
I assume like during that hour I'd have been like,
Oh, gotcha.
we don't know what's gonna happen. Let's just and then I'm gonna run to the side of the ship where the islands are and try to look at what she's pointing at.
Yeah. Do a perception check. You have advantage.
Double perception.
Nice.
Good thing for that.
Right? So you're watching, and there are only 6 islands now. But there's like a good deal of wake off next to that island over there that wouldn't be there because like there's nothing there making the wake, and then the wake kind of just settles and goes away.
Oh god. Okay.
What's wrong, Captain?
I'm counting correctly, right? Because I think there were 7, and now there is not 7.
How many are
Did
there?
we see this?
Yeah, when you're looking, there's only 6.
Did one go underwater?
Okay.
Did our
then-
nut?
The ocean rise?
Global warming.
I mean, tides? I don't know about water.
Okay. Just a question. Let's say this is a creature of some sort.
Okay.
How likely is that that it's like a happy unicorn type creature?
Like something that's gonna grant a wish for you and stuff instead of come and murder your boat.
Yeah, that one.
Let's go ahead.
Nothing pleasant lives in the water.
It's so true.
I don't know. Are water creatures nicer than desert creatures? Because if it's the desert, no, it's going to kill us.
Should we
Right.
kill us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You can go ahead and do a history check. While he's figuring this out, Decim, what have you been doing?
One more time.
So what has Decim been doing during this time?
Well, I mean, it seems like they've got everything under control, and I'm gonna throw over every worm I can, and periodically check them for food to appear on top of the worm,
Sure.
and sing some chittering Slytherin songs from my childhood about how Timmy's gonna die whether we eat him or eat what he catches.
You know, an old childhood hunting song about your family. Excellent.
Oh my god.
So,
Yeah, it's really heartwarming. It's really heartwarming stuff.
you don't really catch anything the size of the tuna, but you do pull up some just small fish that have been feeding on it. They're still like meal size, so like single meal size. All right,
I
Captain.
mean, I'll totally eat those.
Fair enough. Is that a 9 that you got on your history there, Captain?
Oh, it was not roll. I did not see the rolls of being updated. So the first history was in fact a 5.
Oh, that's way back there. Okay, gotcha. Even better, right?
Yes.
So, you can't think of any creature that would be like this. However, you also can't think of any creature that is large enough to be an apex predator in the ocean that isn't an apex predator in the ocean. Maybe, I don't actually know about whales in this area. There could
Right.
potentially be whales in this area that would not necessarily be coming after you to not grant your wish.
Right. Okay.
However, for the most part,
For the most part,
things
they
that
are.
large, yeah.
Phew. Okay. Then yeah, we'll I'm gonna just go full on denial and go slightly less north than we should be going.
Okay.
Just for safety's sake.
So you want her to head a little more east?
Yeah, a little
Okay.
more east. I was gonna stop, but that seems like a horrible idea, honestly. Yeah. Keep going east.
Okay.
I'm assuming we're past the fishing village, correct?
Well, if you weren't where you thought you were, that's probably not where the fishing
true.
village was.
I didn't. Yeah.
So, Captain, what are we dealing with?
Two things. One, this is
Okay.
potentially a wish-granting genie, island-sized genie. Very
Okay.
unlikely so. Very unlikely so, but potentially so.
Okay.
Two, remember when I said that we were right next to an island that could give us food?
Yes.
That was predicated that under the fact that we were close to the islands that are now potentially not islands, but in fact a wish-granting genie that may also try to kill us. So, don't know where we are, and we might get a wish granted or we might die.
Can we try and leave?
Well, I think we should leave and not be here, but by leaving and not being here, we won't probably get your friend, although I repeat, he cannot be worth all of this.
We care very deeply for our friend.
I know you do, and I'm sure I would too if I got to know him. But that thing that I said it would grant wishes may not grant us a wish.
So what do you think it is? Is it like a giant thing with tentacles? Or is it like a thing with fins and a back and...
So I looked through my memory of my history of sailing, and I can tell you for certain that I have no goddamn clue what it is. Which is why I feel confident saying it could grant us a wish.
Okay, well that could be a good... I mean, in theory, if we catch it and if it grants us a wish, we could just wish Friede back. Problem solved.
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
Your reasoning has turned against you, Captain.
I mean, I think she reasoned me. That's not a bad idea. If it does grant a wish, problem solved.
Yeah, and if it grants us 2 wishes, we could use the second wish to forcefully negotiate with some Calastians from afar.
Easy, save your friend, and forceful negotiation. I'm in. Okay,
Yes.
I'm gonna go to Did I give the person steering the boat some time off yet, or is she still
Jojen can be steering now. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to Jojen, and first I'm gonna ask because he's also a native of the water.
Yeah.
Can you think of anything that this could be?
I mean, it's obviously not a kraken.
Was that a possibility?
No, not really. I mean, they're in the water, so I guess it could be. I mean, it's a high likelihood, 51% that it's not a kraken.
All right, I like those odds. And if it's not a kraken, we're probably fine, right?
I don't know if I'd go that far, but I think there's only 5 islands over there now. Any points?
God. Okay, Jojen. Then we're going to... You know what? We're going to have to stay on course. We're going to have to go north-ish, because if we're not even with those islands, we have no clue where we are, so we have to kind of go north to where land should technically be. And then I'm going to actually have someone replace Jojen, and he and I are going to take turns going under the water.
Okay.
Just seeing what we can see. Kind of like a early or not early enough alarm system.
Sure. Roll any die for me.
I would do D12 because I've never got a chance to use a D12. That's a 7.
A 7. Okay. So, as you sit there watching these islands, they definitely seem to grow in size or seem to get closer to the ship. Anytime one of them disappears, Selena calls down and warns you. Jojen climbs out of the water on the other side of the ship, and he just kind of shrugs.
Yeah.
And so it's your turn, and so you dive down, and you're swimming along with the ship, and you've had Barnabas is steering now, and you've had Barnabas kind of head more north than you were. So when that happened, it actually the islands had kind of grown closer as you turned.
Yeah.
But for the most part, they've kind of gradually grown over the last hour. And as you're sitting there watching just the water around you, but kind of in the direction of, at the very least, but you're not really sure what else is down here either. So you're being very cautious.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Make a perception check.
If there was a time to not roll under a 10,
Right?
this is that time.
What does Enkeely
Dude,
have in
roll
store
high.
for you?
I trust you. God! I mean,
I mean, it's not under a 10.
Not
It's
under a
true.
10, so I can't be too upset.
You need to specify next time.
I do.
So as you're watching, the water begins to feel like, even in the ocean there are currents, and so you definitely start feeling like you're getting into an area that has more current, which doesn't necessarily affect the ship that you're worried about,
Right.
but you're kind of having a harder time keeping up with the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And so as you're, like swimming faster and the ship begins to pull away from you, you start like panicking a little bit
Mm-hmm.
because you don't want them to leave you behind.
Yeah.
And then you feel that current pull you downwards. And you can't really, like, you're moving, you're not like restrained by it, but the speed of the current is moving faster than you're swimming,
Right.
and the ship just like goes off up above you. What do you do?
Let's see. This is a different day than that day I did the whirlpool thing, right?
Correct.
Okay, so I do have one of those things available. I'll cast Control Water to try to give myself a little forceful push back up to the ship.
Okay. How much water does that allow you to control?
Let's see. I believe Control Water, if I choose, there's Redirect Flow. You cause flowing water in an area to move in the direction you choose.
Yeah, so we'll just say that like the water around you can cause to flow the other direction and allow you to move with it, essentially.
Yeah.
As you do that, a very large claw appears next to you.
I mean, Jojen was right.
Like a big crab claw. It's like it's longer, not quite lobster claw, but definitely like a longer crab claw. Reaches past you and grabs the ship.
Oh,
and you realize you're not even really in a current as so much as like the wake caused by this thing swimming past you is pushing you off in a way.
And I already used my one spell, Control Water.
Because the other one you had was Control Giant Crab Thing.
Control Giant Crab Thing, which is perfect.
Of all the spells to waste.
So I'm gonna do my best to like get to the surface.
Okay.
I don't know. Has the crab claw like come out of the water?
No, not yet.
So it's only grabbed the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to get up to the surface. How far is the ship from me at this point?
Well, let's do an athletics check, and we can see.
You are not very athletic, Captain.
But you're gonna have the help of your spell pushing you in the direction you want to go, so we'll give you advantage.
Okay.
Which is still not all that great, but hey.
Yeah.
So you managed to swim up towards the ship, and you look back, and there's just this massive body. It's kind of hard to tell what it actually looks like because it's so large, but there's definitely this appendage reaching out from it, and you hear like the creaking of timbers as it kind of closes around the bottom of the ship. Yeah. Meanwhile, on deck, the ship goes lurch, and you hear like some weird groaning noises from below deck. What does everybody do?
I'm gonna check below decks because that's where the problem's coming from, obviously. So I'm gonna go down below and see if there's anything there.
Braca?
I'm going to yell at a crew member who might have a better clue. What's going on?
That can be... What's the Asathi's name? Sorry, hang on one sec. Zareen. Zareen looks at you and says, I don't know! It's like you're both shouting at each other. Destin, what are you doing?
So, Brock is going to run.
Okay.
Run down there, too.
I mean, I guess it's going to be clearly more nursery rhymes and continue checking of the worms to see if there's been a bite.
Yeah. A couple of the lines are very taut, as though there was something on them.
Well, usually I would know by the fevered splashing of whatever family member I had thrown into the water at the time,
Right.
as to the distance between that person and whatever we were hunting. So if there's no frothing in the water, then we may have just got ourselves caught on a rock, probably. So I'm gonna just kind of tug at the various different ropes that have become taut to see if there's any give at all.
Okay. Do a athletics check. And while he's doing that, Braca, you run over to where Pracha is, right?
Yep.
Okay. So the two of you glance down below, and Zyrene goes with you. There is definitely some water coming in.
Huh.
Looks like some of the boards in the base of the ship have splintered.
Did we hit a rock? I'm gonna look at Zyrene when I ask that.
Zyrene pokes his head over the stairwell. Miela, I think you hit something. You can't see this down there, but everyone up on top can. She's like grasping the wheel and like trying to like move it, and she's like, "Yeah, we definitely have hit something."
Okay. Well, is there a way to patch the ship down below?
Yeah.
I slowly
see
look
any
at
tools?
Braca.
Yeah, they would have like timber and stuff that essentially you build patches with. Yeah.
All right. I would, having recently learned having recently learned a couple more repair skills. Does it seem like there's anything that I could use my sudden interest in carpentry and making sure I don't fall down holes
Absolutely.
to prevent anyone else from falling in?
Yeah. Do a we'll call that wisdom with proficiency.
Wisdom with proficiency. All right, so I'm going to roll my survival, which is the same modifier.
Perfect. And so fitting. Oh. While he's doing
Nice
this,
say no.
while he's doing this, Decim, you run around and you check all of these ropes, and they are like so taut you can't pull them up. Decim, are you still there? It's really hard to tell if he's there.
Thinking about it.
There we go.
Lot to pull on, right? And they're on various different parts of the boat.
Right?
One side of the boat that's being affected.
It definitely seems to be more the right side, which I can't think of what it's called right now. Port? I don't remember.
There's no frothing in the water, nothing splashing around,
No.
no unusual movements like someone struggling for life.
No, you don't see anything struggling for life. You could do a perception check, though. There's a very large, shadowy area under the ship that wasn't there before. It looks like part of it is covering the ropes and like pulling them against the ship. But you can't see the actual details of the shadow. Just a very large object.
Yeah, Desm is going to chitter in a rather winning sort of way. Just celebrate whatever the hell we've caught here. It could be a rock, but we caught this rock, and it's because the plan worked, and he wants to let everyone know how excited that he is about that thing down there. That look, we're gonna get that thing.
So I don't think that any of your friends are actually on board. So like Barnabas and Miela and Jojen kind of like are watching you dance around, and they're very confused.
Well, if they're confused, I'll show them, and then I just want them to recognize that this is actually the best way to fish.
Absolutely. Pracha, so downstairs you're watching Braca try and patch one of these cracks. What are you doing?
Okay. Well, do you got it, Braca? Do you have all the materials you need?
I don't think so.
Braca, it does seem like something is missing.
Do I have a sense of what?
No.
Do you need
Nope.
Do you need nails or something?
Yeah, nails. Nails will do it.
Okay. I'm gonna look at who's the person with us or
Zareen.
near us. Zareen, are there nails?
He points to nails.
I'm gonna point at nails for Braca. Those are nails.
All right.
Do you got this?
Yes. Just let me focus for a bit.
Okay, I believe in you, Braca. You got this. I'm gonna look at Cyrene and quietly say, if he breaks the ship, we have somebody else on standby to like super patch it.
Yeah, Barnabas can come down and help. I'll go get him.
Okay. Yeah, maybe he can provide some direction. Braca,
No.
we're
I got this. Give me one
okay,
more
good.
chance.
Yeah. I know you do. You got it, man. I'm actually gonna leave because I have that much confidence in you. I'm gonna head back up.
Okay.
I'd like to make an insight check.
Sure, yeah, go for it. While you're rolling the insight check, somebody's audio is being echoey. I don't know if it's John or not.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
I'm still on push to talk.
Somebody's echoing.
Testing. Is it me?
What did we get? Nice. Braca, whatever Catie says Pracha is feeling is really what you get. So, Catie, how is Pracha actually feeling?
So, Pracha feels she's seen him fix things sometimes, and then other times just break things. So this might be one of the breaking times as opposed to the fixing times. That's kind of what the sense she's obviously going to like provide backup assistance because this is their only dry place in the entire ocean right now. So she's getting backup for you. She absolutely feels like maybe he needs a little bit of help.
I feel so much love and confidence. You do not need an insight check to see Braca pouting.
He just puts that big old horsey lip out.
But he would like to try again.
Okay.
If that's at all possible.
Sure, yeah. After he shows you the other bucket of nails, you can try and figure out what's what. So as you're like messing around with it, you realize it's less about the way that you're putting the boards on and nailing them down so much as that like there's only so much that force can do. You needed something else, something like a sticky substance to kind of help fill in the crack, like some kind of tar or something.
And I assume we have that right over there.
If you look around, you could find that. Yeah.
All right, there we go.
So, Pracha, when you and Barnabas and Zareen come back down, actually, let's take a break from that. You may not have time to come back down. In the water, Captain Morrigan, what are you doing?
Surface yet?
What's that?
Haven't made it to the surface yet.
You will be able to, yes.
And then, is the ship in like yelling distance, essentially?
Sure.
So I want to yell to whoever I can. They weren't islands. Pass me my trident, and then get ready to get the hell out.
So, like, give you the trident?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Jojin will like run over and check your trident at you.
Okay.
Not in a stabbing kind of way, but yeah.
So then, and I assume he got the whole like get ready to like try to leave us, and then I'm going to. I just see a giant like lobster or crab claw around the boat. Yeah, like that's what I see. I don't see the lobster or crab attached to it. It's just the claw.
Well, you do see the like large shape that's behind it. It's just so massive you can't really make out the details of what it is.
That does not fill me with confidence, Jeremy, at all.
Like, it is a very crab-like claw that is wrapping around the bottom of the ship.
Right.
And then, because it's so close and so large, you can see murkiness below you that you probably wouldn't see normally.
Right.
But there's just no way for you to see details.
Gosh. I mean...
But you do hear...
I guess I'll do the only thing I can do. I'll try to shank it in the claw.
Okay.
Just like...
Just swim over.
Or... Okay, so here's the question. Like, how much of the bottom does it have? Like, does it have a large part, or is it just like the bottom where I could like try to break off a piece and it could like the ship could attempt to get away?
Oh, I see. So we're going to go somewhere in between that, because you do notice that the claw is essentially wrapping around the width of the hull.
Gotcha.
But, like, you know how crab claws have that joint?
Yeah.
So you could potentially go over there and try and, like, jam in your trident and, like, break it at the joint in order to get that piece to let go.
Yeah, we'll try that.
Okay.
In lieu of a better idea.
Sure. So you roll an attack, and everyone else roll me a dex save.
Oh, gosh. All right.
Trident. In his defense, he's attacking something that can grab the claw, grab his ship. So he is not like fully...
Nice. Excellent. So, Pracha, you're below deck, right? Or you're heading to go below deck. With
with Barnabas and yeah.
So Barnabas and Zareen go to catch you as the ship lurches suddenly, and like it almost feels like you're thrown forward, like the deck went like this. And as they go to grab you, I mean, they don't even come close, and you go head first down the hole.
Okay.
You're gonna take 6 points of damage
Oh!
as you
my
collide
gosh.
with everything at the bottom. And there's actually like, so it's partially bludgeoning from you like smacking into it, but there's also splinters that like stick into you. Braca, you catch yourself as you hear her collide with the floor, and you see this large crack has appeared over there. Like you're fixing this crack here, and another crack has shown up over there, but it's much larger. And Decim, like this happens mid dancing move as you're like celebrating. And so when you come back down, you're just already moving with it, and you manage to continue dancing in celebration.
It's how it's done, like just want to make sure that everybody is doing the same dance because we should really all be celebrating this great victory.
So Braca, what do you do?
Do I have enough of the sticky adhesive substance to fix this larger hole?
No.
Even is there anything that I could do to keep? Does it look like there's anything that I could do to do something patchwork to keep the whole ship from going down?
You can make me a survival check to try and figure it out. It'll technically be your tools check, but you don't feel like you have enough. Like, once a ship has taken this amount of damage, it's kind of not something you can patch.
All right, so I'm going to look at Project. I can't fix it. I can't fix it anymore.
I'm just gonna lay bleeding on the ground and go and just do this motion.
Like, I'm gonna see if I can help Project up if I have any action left and start. I think that being below deck is even less safe at this point because above deck, worst comes to worst, you can jump off the boat.
That's fair. Pracha, are you gonna go with him?
I'll go with him. I
Okay.
feel like I'm dazed at this point, so I'm gonna.
Well, like
Well, I'm on
your
deck.
face was still healing from taking a table leg to the
Yeah.
face, and so when you landed, it like definitely
Like just reopened
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
So Captain, you swim up. I mean, it's hard to miss because it's like huge, but you jam your trident in there, and right as it's happening, the claw like closes some more and just rips the trident out of your hands, and you like go tumbling through the water.
Yeah.
Make a con save. You definitely feel like that sudden force of pulling you forward. It hurt, but you feel okay afterwards. You're not. Felt like it almost ripped your arms out of the socket.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you want to do?
Yeah, I'm gonna go back on the ship, or attempt to get back on the ship.
Sure.
And look at there's some like dancing and people just kind of like having a somewhat like panic. They're like, "Oh, this ship we hit a rock or something."
Right. And actually, as
Because
you're
I
climbing up, you look up and you can see Selena is actually dangling from a rope. It looks like she's trying to climb down, but the rope is just like swaying violently around, and Jojen's at the
Good,
bottom
good.
trying to catch it.
Oh gosh. So here's my question: is there some kind of like emergency giant crab plan that we would have in place, like a separate ship that we could like sneak off of?
Not
Because I'll be
really.
honest, not really. Yeah. Okay. Then I will, in my most calming captain voice, say, "Hey, friends, we're all probably gonna die. There is a massive, massive creature underneath that has grabbed the bottom of the ship. So there's that. So I'm gonna go drink."
No. What? No. 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 No.
If
No.
it
No.
was
We came this far. We came this far.
We did. I mean, like, would you like to go down? And it's because I saw the thing, and after seeing the thing, the best thing would you like some of to drink? Like, I'm gonna get everybody some of my like private stash, and we're just gonna ride this out.
I'm gonna go down below deck again.
No,
and settle
don't.
down and get as much
Don't do
worm
that.
parts as humanly possible in my arm. Grab every single one of those worm parts. And I'm gonna come back on deck, arms full of disgusting worm parts, and then I'm gonna hurl them as far as I can overboard, away from the ship.
Okay.
Towards the creature?
away from the ship to try to bait the creature away from
Okay.
the ship. Is there anything I should roll for that?
No, I mean we could do an athletics check to see how far you throw it, I guess. But overall, it's pretty easy to throw things overboard. Yeah, and you're a pretty strong lady, and so you chuck them way out there.
Then,
Yeah, go ahead.
and then I'm gonna grab something sharp and start sawing at Decim's ropes. It's my next.
You have a
my next
sword
goal.
and a dagger,
Yeah.
so yeah, you could do that.
Yeah.
Baraka, so she runs down and does that. What do you do?
So, Prachi, you think the worms can distract this thing or give it a tummy ache?
I think it's all we can do.
Yeah. Are there more worms?
Probably, yeah, if you want to get some more.
It's more
Just-
like the chum of the
Yeah, I'll
worms
get
that's
some more.
left. Yeah.
Sure, I'll get some more.
You could run down with a bucket and like slurp stuff off the floor with, because they were pretty gross when they died.
Yep, that works.
Decim, what are you doing?
Desm is horrified that his catch is being released, but he can't go against the will of the gentle master, and so, despite his displeasure, he's now looking for a place to not be seen, because clearly he might have done something wrong. He's not really sure.
Oh my
Poor Decim.
So there's
He was so happy.
there's below decks, although you do
Oh.
see Pracha and Braka going down there, so you could go hide in like one of the crew cabins.
This is a good idea.
Okay.
Just until this all blows over.
Okay. So Decim just quietly walks with his head down back into the crew cabin. John?
Yeah, he's well, I mean, he's gonna kind of scurry his way over.
Okay, so it's not like quite so.
While also, yeah, chittering under his breath, still a victory song, because that's how you do this. This is the way.
Right. Okay. So Pracha, you and Brocker run back down to get more worm chum and throw it over. Captain Morgan, you run into the rat guy. You're pretty sure his name is Decim? As you're walking back out onto deck with your rum bottle.
And I'll kind of give him a quick offering as he like walks past. Okay. So I'll like, take my swigs and pass them around the crew.
Yeah. And you see
Kinda-
Pracha and Brockett chucking worm chum over the side. It looks like Selena has gotten back down to deck with Jojen, and you don't see from where you're at the other three, so they're probably up on the castle, I think it's called. The back of the ship that has the raised area.
Right.
Stern castle.
Something. I do this at one time, a long time ago.
Yeah, I'll just look wistfully off into the distance.
Okay.
And every once in a while I'll look down and be like, well, shit. That
So-
happened.
Everyone roll a d20.
Alright.
Got a 19. 15. 2. And 9. Alright, go ahead and make a dex save. Everyone. As the ship suddenly lurches very violently. Now the rolls start counting. Pracha, no!
Goodbye.
It's that head injury.
Right?
It is.
So yeah, you get a little woozy as the ship all of a sudden just lurches, and you hear this rending noise And Braca, you're actually like starting to head back up the stairs, and you look over, and it looks like whatever it was that was like crushing through lets go, but as it does so, it's like kind of a serrated claw thing, and it rips away large chunks of the ship, and water starts like spewing forward, and then the ship starts to like bob around like very violently, and Pracha, you just go sailing overboard.
Goodbye.
Everyone else manages to like hang on to something, even the captain. Like, it's more like you just happen to reach up as you're trying to grab your rum jug from like falling. You catch a rope and you're like, whoa, and hold yourself up with.
Did I see Pracha go sailing overboard as she was like cleaning up the ship for the last time?
What's your passive perception?
You should have pretty good passive. You do not have pretty good passive. That's an 11.
11. You might have heard her shout, but
I mean, 13.
13. Yeah, her shout seemed like it went off. Like it was like, ah!
I told her drink some rum. God damn it! Fine, I'll go down there.
Okay.
She doesn't have the neck things, does she?
No, the gill things. No.
Yeah, fine.
Braca, what are you doing?
Captain, can you get down there and swim and rescue?
Can I get down there? Yes. Can I swim? Yes. Rescue?
Is there something I could throw to help with the rescue, like to provide counterweight or something?
Yes. Throw a rope down and then either hold it yourself or tie it to something that is temporarily sturdy. It may not be sturdy for much longer.
Do I see anything that looks temporarily sturdy?
The mast. The mast is pretty temporarily sturdy.
Yeah. So I'll tie to the mast.
Okay.
Throw a rope down, tie to the mast.
Excellent. Decim, what are you doing?
Well, after my super amazing backflip against the lurching of the ship, because clearly I've got this whole sailor thing down. How far into the cabin have I gotten?
You by this point you can actually be in the cabin, yeah.
Looking back over my shoulder, everything's still okay?
Like out the door and down the hall?
Yeah. Out.
No.
I mean, how can I still see the deck?
You can see the deck, but it looks like it's starting to splinter.
What do you mean splinter?
Kind of like a crack in the middle that goes the width of the ship.
Well, how could that happen?
I don't know.
Wait, so these things break?
It sure looks like it.
So, like, we were going to take a bath no matter what we were going to do?
I guess so.
Well, one of us was.
Oh no, like, bathing is bad. Bathing equals drowning. Crap, I need to let everyone know that the ship is breaking in half. I'm going to run back out and try and get everyone to go back inside. If you can't see the water can't get you.
Okay. So Desmond comes running out, shouting about hiding from the water so he can't get you. Captain, you dive into the water. Braca is tying off the rope and throws the other end into the water. You see Jojen helping Selena like to walk across, and then he stops and he looks at the crack that's starting to kind of form in the center of the ship. And then he looks over at all of you, and he picks up Selena and jumps over the crack as it's like... What does Pracha do once you hit the water and realize you are no longer in the ship?
That's a great question, because she's from the plains and the desert. I don't think she ever had the opportunity to learn how to swim. Like, realistically, that's not something that would happen for someone who was,
Yeah.
I mean, I realize Shelzar is a port city, but, her parents might know how to swim. She probably never learned. I guess start trying not to drown while
Okay.
drowning.
Okay. Like you're underwater, do you want to try and go up, like towards the top, or do
Yeah,
you?
up is where air is.
Right.
So up sounds great.
Okay.
So her trying to swim up would be important.
So let's just do an athletics check.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah. You definitely feel like the water's kind of churning around in a way that doesn't seem normal, as a very large shadowy mass that's off in the distance from you is moving around. It actually looks like it's going away from the ship a little ways.
Okay.
But you manage to then like swim up to the top, and your head pops out as the captain like hits the water and begins swimming towards you.
Okay. I'm gonna gasp for air as I continue to flail at the surface.
Okay.
Yep. That sounds good. And then yell help. I can't swim.
Okay. We'll go with Captain next, since you're right there.
Grab the rope and bring it to her. I've seen these people who don't have the ability to breathe underwater, and they get all freaked out about like not being able to breathe for a while.
It's true.
So I'm just going to like get the rope like in her hands and then kind of like push up so it's easier for her to stay above water.
Okay.
And then I assume like once she gets the rope, she'll be able to like climb up.
Okay. Braca, you see the captain take the rope to her and then disappear underneath her, and essentially she kind of bobs up higher in the water, and she has a hold of the rope, unless Paracha didn't want to take the rope.
Well, if she first sees him, she'll try to grab onto him. But if he's like lifting her up, as is normal with drowning victims, so she'll try to grab onto him. But if he like grabs her back and try to lift her up, she'll eventually grab the rope.
Gotcha.
Especially because she's now above water. So
yeah, so there's definitely like this awkward moment where Captain, you're fighting to save her life rather than her just letting you. She's like, ah!
Yep.
But then she like calms down and figures it out and grabs the rope.
Mm-hmm.
Braca, what do you do?
Do I see that she grabbed the rope? Is there any way I can try and pull her up?
Yeah, absolutely. Just do an athletics check at advantage. Oh.
Brock is also panicking.
Right? It's very wet, and your hands just kind of slip a little. You get pulled towards the ship, but not so much up onto the ship. As you're getting pulled towards the ship, though, you do notice that there is a very large crack that runs up, essentially near the center of the ship. Its width, and it looks like it's just cracking and slowly doing one of these.
Oh no! There's no lifeboats on this ship?
You didn't see any, no.
No, because fish people don't need lifeboats. I'm gonna yell, Braca, go fix the ship as best you can with Barnabas. I'm just gonna climb this rope. I'm gonna climb this rope. I'm gonna hold.
I can't fix this.
You can try. You and Barnabas can try. I believe in you. This is your time. This is your time to show me you can do it. I believe in you. Just fix the ship. Please fix the ship.
Years of therapy later, Braca finally goes back to the ocean one time.
No, that's me as a player. And the ship, I think the sea madness is starting to get to her a bit.
Yeah, you
can fix the ship.
Decim, so you see Braca standing at the edge, yelling at. Like, he's trying to pull the rope up, and you can hear Paracha, but you can't see her, yelling at him to fix the ship, and he's like, I think it's a little beyond that. What do you do?
Wait, hold on. Okay, so her voice is coming from the bath?
Yes.
Oh, no. Oh, no. I'm going to run over towards Brokaw. You said he's pulling on a rope?
Yep.
I'm going to look over the edge of the ship.
You see Pracha dangling, well, not even dangling yet. She's like in the water, hanging onto the rope at the base of the ship. And you can kind of see the captain like below her, kind of trying to like push her up.
Yeah, I'm going to yell down to her, the bath is death, and I will assist Brokaw on the pulling of the rope.
Okay. Do you guys want to make another athletics check at advantage? Why doesn't... Actually, I don't know who has the higher advantage, so you guys decide who rolls it.
Pretty sure Brokaw is stronger than Desmond.
Much better.
Well, it's a good thing we're working together.
Right? So the two of you managed to pull Pracha aboard. She has a very large, like the side of her face that got smacked with the table leg is just like super swollen, and one eye is actually starting to swell shut. And Captain, are you following her up?
I mean, while I'm down here, I'll once again try to like tickle the claw to get off the off my ship.
So like as you swam up, to help her up, you don't see the claw on the ship anymore.
It went away?
Do you want to go look for it?
No. I've decided that Captain Morgan lives his life through denial. It's gone. It was probably never there. It was just a rock.
This is how my ship was this morning. It's fine.
Yeah. Don't you remember? Like, let's just, yeah. So then I'm going to climb up and be like, let's see if we can fix this, and then not be here at all anymore.
Okay. So you climb up after Pracha, who's kind of swaying on the deck.
Yep.
What, Pracha, what do you do?
Try not to pass out. And probably still yell at Braca to fix the ship. Because I don't know what else to do. Other than grab a piece of wood and hope for dear life.
Okay, Braca, what do you do?
Does it look... look for anything that I can try and paste together in desperation to at least slow down the carnage.
So, given all of the things that you've tried to fix before, I feel like as much as you want to do what Pracha asked of you,
yeah,
you know in your heart it just isn't going to happen.
So in that case, I can look down at this boat and I can tell that to a certain degree wood floats, and that this is how I'm learning that. Look for some salvageable pieces of wood that we might be able to float on.
Do an intelligence check for me. You're feeling very panicked, and you do see like chunks of wood that are like splintering off and all that. Using the idea that wood floats, yeah, you could use some of this to kind of keep yourself afloat with.
Yep. So I'm just grabbing up some pieces of wood.
Okay. Decim.
Looking over at Pracha, I mean, just to make sure, did she catch anything?
It doesn't look like she caught anything unless you count that the captain came up right after her. Maybe she caught the captain, who's kind of a fish person, but...
Hey now.
I think that's good enough for Desmond. She caught the fish guy, and she has learned a thing. He didn't even have to tell her a whole lot about how to fish, but she did it, and he is very, very impressed. He thought that she was really cool before, but now she's really cool. Yeah, but this thing that we're on is about to break, and not seeing the water is probably the best course of action at this point. So he's going to go running back into the crew quarters.
Okay. So Decim disappears back up the little hall that heads to the crew quarters. The rest of the crew's kind of running around. You did see some of them trying to like head downstairs to see if they could patch things, and then once it got to be so bad, they were like, never mind. The non-water breathers are slowly, like trying to move to the back of the ship that seems to be like it'll be the last part that goes underwater.
Oh my god.
Everyone is on the back end of the ship at this point.
Okay.
Captain,
Oh,
what do you do?
I guess I'll remember that not everyone is as comfortable in the water as Georgia and I. It's like, oh, forgot. God, I don't know. And then I'll try to, I guess, start to like create some kind of like makeshift raft.
Okay. Do you want to do me an intelligence check?
I don't want to, but probably 12.
Nice. So as you're like looking for stuff to like put together or whatever, you remember that those like the barrels and the crates down in the hold
Mm-hmm.
that you had opened in order to check to see if the food was good.
Yes.
If you had time, and if they're still down there, considering the ship is like breaking apart, then those might be able to be like re-nailed shut with nothing in them, and they would be buoyant.
Right. Well, we'll grab Jojin and be like, don't die for this now. But let's go see what we can do.
To everyone else, you say that?
No, just Jojin.
Okay.
I'll let them like keep going to the back.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah, he nods and follows you.
Yeah, and try to like create some kind of like floaties for the raft.
Sure. Roll a d6 for me.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
Okay.
I assume bad because it's red.
Right? So as you get down there, you see only a small number of crates that are still in the hold. It looks like everything else is dumped out as the water is like slowly filling it in. 3.
Okay, we're gonna have the Titanic this then. Yeah, so then we'll do what we can with what we have.
Okay, so you managed to grab the 3 and like get them nailed shut or clamp down or whatever that chest needs. And do you take them back out the top, or do you swim out through the bottom?
We'll go to the top so that our friends have like a semblance of like, oh, Captain's actually doing a thing rather than just getting drunk.
So on the back end of the ship, like all of a sudden, like some crates go like being tossed over the edge of the lip that goes down to the hold, and Jojin climbs out and drags 2 of the crates, and then Captain Morgan follows him with another one. What do you do?
Is below decks underwater?
Do you ask him that, or do you go look?
No, I'm asking him that.
Yeah, it's pretty underwater. But if we can get some planks, we can use these as like little floaties, make them like buoyant, and we can create a small raft.
Like, I'm gonna look at the rest of the crew.
Brock's like standing there holding some planks.
You'll all have to like hold on to the raft, and you'll probably be fine. Like, probably.
Okay, Braca, let's go.
All right, do you need my skills?
Yes.
Yes, we need your skills, Braca.
I'm not even gonna make you roll it. I'm sorry, because nailing a piece of wood onto another piece of wood is probably not worthy of needing to be rolled. But so you essentially like. Is there any specific way you want to try and build this raft out of the planks and?
I assume Captain Morgan would have some kind of knowledge of a way to like rig it so that multiple people could at least like have their hand on it.
Yeah, I mean, you could pretty easily make it like a triangle shaped thing that like has the boards in between them, so everyone could hang on. That'd be pretty simple.
Yeah,
Say,
we'll do
Braca,
that.
you just own this, and it is the best thing you've done all day. All right, what do? Do you just jump in? You gonna wait for the ship to go down?
I'm going to suggest that they get on sooner rather than later.
Yeah, sooner.
Yeah.
Okay. He's gonna chuck the raft into the water, and then everyone jumps in and grabs on.
That sounds fine.
Okay.
I'll also take a few of the ropes, just like
Sure.
just to have. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Pracha and Braca, make me intelligence checks. Excellent.
Intelligence check, right?
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh,
That's
Or that's the
odd.
intelligence modifier.
yeah.
Hold on, I'm just gonna roll a d20. There you go. So a 12.
Okay. So the captain and the crew all abandon ship, just jump over, and Braca jumps over the edge, and right as you're about to jump over the edge, you're like, Braca, captain, crew, we're missing somebody.
Yep.
Oh.
Where's Dessum?
Gonna go try to find Dessum. Where is he?
The last you saw of him, he was standing over there dancing, but now you don't see him. Oh, no, wait. Dustin, did you go back in the back? Or did you
The
come
crew
out?
quarters.
Yeah, you went back to the crew quarters. And you would have saw that because it was after he pulled you out.
So is he underwater?
No, he's actually above water currently.
Okay.
He's actually more above water than you are because of the way that the ship is tilting.
Okay. Oh no. Okay. I'm gonna try to get to the crew quarters.
Okay. Just make an athletics check as you're like
Sure.
trying to like climb up to get over to this like essentially it's starting to get that going up that is going to be walking like almost almost a vertical so as you're like moving you actually take your dagger out and like you're using it as like a piton and you're kind of helping to move yourself along that way and you get back to the crew quarters. Dessum, what are you doing in the crew quarters?
Dessum is sitting in the crew quarters with his hands over his eyes just to ensure that he can't see the water.
Right. So
and
it doesn't
therefore
see,
the water can't affect him.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So as you rip the door open and it just like bangs open from the gravity pulling it down, you see Dessum like he's more sitting on the wall at this point than he is sitting on the floor because of the angle, and it looks like he's almost meditating, but he has his eyes like his hands over his eyes.
I'm thinking for a moment maybe this is a weird paladin thing, and then, like maybe he's praying, and then I go over and I just grab his hand out from his eyes and I was like, "We need to go. We need to go now."
I mean, that is clearly a very important thing that must be done.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm gonna drag him out to get to the makeshift raft as quickly as possible.
Okay.
Yeah,
Dessum.
zero protest.
Okay.
Totally going.
So, kind of like a wet noodle, you're just dragging behind, or like a little kid. He's not really like trying to fight you, but he's.
Okay. Good.
It seems like he might be a little broken inside. I'm not totally sure.
This has been a rough day for Dessum.
Right?
It's been a rough
Oh
day.
yeah, it's been a rough day for all of us.
You get back to the end of the hallway, and you're kind of like holding yourself up more like by jamming your foot against the wall and holding yourself up with your other arm
Oh God.
across. and you can see water is coming up and like flooding the deck. So you can either slide down into the water, or you can try and get over to the edge of the ship and jump off towards the deck or the lifeboat.
Neither of us can swim, so I'm gonna try jumping over the rail towards the lifeboat option. I think that might be trickier, but higher chance of survival if I manage to pull it off.
Just do me one more athletics check.
Okay, let's see. Come on, dice. I believe in you. I believe in you, dice.
So you're getting close to it, and then
Yeah.
your like when you go to jam your dagger in, it just doesn't hold the weight of you and Decim as you're like trying to like help him go along, and you both just slide down and splash into the water. And like the hold essentially is open below you because the deck has separated so much.
Okay.
Captain and Braca, what are you two doing?
So, Captain Morgan was very confused when she decided to go back into the ship. Like, I thought she knew that, like, this was safety.
We're short someone.
Oh, your paladin friend.
Yeah. Who's a bit paranoid of water because... No, I'm not going to say why. Then, like, nope.
Okay, so I guess like he will be closer to the ship because he can be pulled down and be fine. But he just wants to make sure everyone is off the ship.
Okay. And Braca?
I don't know if I could go out and look for... I guess Braca's panicking a bit and just gonna start looking around like, wait, Braca, Decim, where are they? Just look as much as possible.
Okay. So you don't see them. Do you actually ask out loud where they are?
Yeah, and I'm gonna start calling out.
Okay.
Braca, Decim, can you hear me?
So, Captain, you can answer if you want.
I don't know where they are. They're like in there somewhere. So I'm just gonna go.
Bloop. So so did you go underwater, Captain?
No, because as far as I know, Pracha went into the. Yeah, so I'm just gonna like keep looking at that door until that door goes underwater. Then I'll go underwater.
Okay. And Braca, what's your passive?
Perception 12.
12. So yeah, you both notice them just kind of go sailing down the deck and splash into the water.
Okay. Yeah.
Looks like they probably are either like where the deck is cracking in the middle, or they might have gone into the hold. It was really hard to tell.
I'll chase after.
Okay. So Captain disappears under the water. Braca, what do you do?
I've never been in water like this before, so and I assume I'm like trying to hold on, and like Braca's trying to figure out what he does with his hooves in this position.
Yeah, for what it's worth, I'm trying to figure out
survival.
what Braca does with his hooves.
I mean, I assume he could kick like
right
feet to stay up.
Yeah, well, and like you can use your arms and stuff. Yeah, I'll say that there's no reason that you wouldn't be able to stay up. I don't feel like they're very good swimmers.
No.
I feel like their swim speed should be reduced even more than normal people's, but
yeah.
Pracha, you and Decim, you splash into the water. Yeah, you go like through that crack and you're down in the hold. But the hold itself is like there's like a larger hole below you, so you could just swim out the bottom. And like as you're kind of looking around, you do see the captain kind of swim up and look in that hole.
I flail at the captain. Or in the captain's general direction.
Decim, she's holding your hand and like flailing. What are you doing?
That is exactly how you catch a fish captain. So I will also assist. Yeah, like clearly she is learning, and I don't even have to teach her. Like she just knows this inherently.
Right?
I will also join in on the flailing.
Okay. So, Captain, you see Pracha look at you, and her eyes are like, saucers, and she begins flailing and reaching towards you, and Decim next to her kind of looks over and then begins flailing, almost like he's mocking her, but like mimicking her, not like mocking her, but what do you do?
It's very serious. It's very, very serious. It's an art.
I'll go back into my the rescue and like get below and then kind of push them towards the surface and then towards the thing so they can like flail and grab onto the raft.
Gotcha. So you want to put them? Do you want to take them out the bottom and then over to the raft?
Whatever has the biggest like hole.
Yeah, the bottom. Okay, cool.
Yeah, we'll do that.
So yeah, you can like get them out the bottom and then take them over to the raft where Raka has like splashed over to, and like you see his little hooved feet kicking for all they're worth. So as everyone grabs on, Jojin is swimming around and making sure the crew is all safe, and everyone just kind of stops and looks back at the ship as it like completely cracks in two, and then the two sides just kind of like bob in the water. And actually, like you're there for a while, and it depends on how long you want to watch it, but they actually stay like that for quite a while as the air all escapes.
Yeah.
But as the sun goes down, and you guys are watching this, and you notice those islands are actually right kind of over there, we will end for this week. So,
Wait, which islands? The islands that we were hoping to find, or the evil island?
No, more the ones that were following you. Yeah, those islands.
The murder islands.
The murder islands.
I bet you they are delicious.
Probably, honestly.
With a little butter? Absolutely. So let's do our introductions. We'll begin with Decim.
My name is John, and I play Decim. And you can find me on the internet, on Instagram at Distillosaurus Rex. I make whiskey and I'm a giant nerd here in Ireland.
Yay! Braca, tell us all about yourself.
All right, I'm Noah, and I play Braca Blue. You can find me on Twitter at Noah Grant.
Yay! Captain.
So I'm Chaz, and I'm playing Captain Morgan, who's feeling super guilty that he may have got his friends like killed multiple times over. But I, not as Captain Morgan, researched like video games and D&D and storytelling and music and all those fun things.
And tried to not get your friends killed.
I also tried to not get my friends killed, although I don't know how to land there either.
And last but not least, Pracha, tell us all about yourself.
Hello, my name is Catie. I play Pracha, and I can be found online at Catie Griffin Writer on Facebook, or you can check out my website, www.mostprobable.com. And in my real life, I do weddings, and I also write for a lot of tabletop books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does anybody have anything new that they want to throw out there? I know we talked about Pracha's latest book, I think, last time. But
there's another one that's out now too. That's like it's Dystopia Rising Evolution had a Kickstarter campaign, so there are a lot of little supplements, and I was the developer on one of the supplements, which is Hell Na's Guide to Wasteland Beasties, which is great.
Nice.
Yep. Which is great to pick up if you want to run a campaign with a lot of monsters and beasts and do beast hunting and monster hunting in it in the post-apocalyptic wasteland. Great book to pick up. There are stats for the monsters and also short stories in there that kind of might help inspire you for your own campaign.
That's awesome. And I'll post a link to that in the show notes for anyone who wants to go check it out. Yay! Noah, do you have anything new?
Yep, I am helping to organize a large charity event in May 8th through 18th called, going to be ironic given what has happened on today's stream, Maydays. Because, well, there were a couple of charity conventions where obviously it couldn't be held face-to-face, and so as that ship was kind of going down a little bit, I'm helping a number of them kind of band together and merge online. So we're going to have a lot of exciting games, and we are currently looking for DMs.
Nice. Do you have is there a website and such for people to check out?
Yeah, if you go to maydays.online, it will redirect you.
Awesome. And I will be sure to share that as well. Anybody else have anything new? Well, in that case, I am Jeremy Hochhalter. I pretend to be the DM during this 2-hour period. Yay! Let's see, you can find me on Twitter at WHPubs, also on Facebook, WHPubs. You can go to WHpublications.com. I think that's it. I don't have anything new right now. Hopefully soon. Yay.
Yeah.
So until next time, be safe, everybody, and we will hopefully see you next week. Yay! Bye!
Yeah. Bye.
Hey.